Hello.
Hello.
My sound works. We're good.
Yay. I just took a big bite. I'm sorry.
Nope, you're totally fine. I'm gonna adjust my plant and hopefully not tip over all of it.
You, is that real?
Yes.
Very
Although
good.
it's in need of a little love because it's a houseplant and I took it outside because I'm like, it needs some light and it didn't.
Yeah.
It's a little stressed out now.
Ah,
So
it'll,
we'll keep working on it.
it'll be okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I gotta take a drink. Wash down
You're
my
good.
food. My lunch.
That's so good.
How was your week?
Good. Had a family reunion that I was in charge of and it's now over. So yay.
Yay. Was that like over the 4th of July or something?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes.
Fun. Both sides of the family? Cody's side of the family?
Just Cody's.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. It
Nobody
was great.
died. Nobody blew off an arm.
Nobody died.
Did you?
No, that's always a fear.
Is it?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really is. I get scared whenever anybody lights off fireworks. I'm like, please let us all have our fingers when we leave.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you're smart about it most of the time, you're okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, there's
usually.
that poor guy who died from putting one on his head this 4th of
I
July, but
did not see that, but that's.
it's in I don't remember where it was, but I saw
Did you
it
see? Oh, sorry. You saw it where?
somewhere.
Somewhere.
Not important. Did I see what?
The Stadium of Fire thing that happened at
No.
BYU?
Uh-uh.
You had to go watch it. There they had the flyover with all the jets, and
Mm-hmm.
they had these fireworks that were all popping off, and some of the fireworks that were popping off shot into the crowd
Oh
and
no.
put some people in the hospital.
Oh no.
Yeah,
We went to that one time when Donny Osmond was there.
sweet.
So my mom was like, "Got to do that."
We rode in his car once. Do you remember?
Oh, we met like
You
his
and I.
son or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. We hung out with his son on New Year's. That was
Hmm.
fun.
Yeah. New Year's in Provo.
Yep.
Hmm. That was fun.
Good
That was
times.
really random. Yeah.
I don't know if we've officially started yet, but welcome back.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so 4th of July was great. Last week
Yeah,
was great.
yeah,
Good times had by all.
yeah. It's summer, so it shouldn't be so busy, but it's been very busy.
Mhm. Well, and doesn't it seem like as soon as the 4th of July hits, it's just a rush and then school starts?
Because school starts
Like,
in a month now. So we were just
ew,
I gotta go pick up the girls' sports physicals today actually and get those turned in.
yeah, all of those.
And then do uniform shopping and supply shopping and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it feels like it's always a rush for some reason. And you're like, just until I get to this point. But then once you get to that point, there's a new rush.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Yep, it never ends. It
It's
never
all right.
ends.
Such
It's
is life, right? What's the alternative?
indeed
Yeah.
not life.
Yeah.
That's the
Anyways.
alternative. So
All
you
right.
had the topic for today.
Yeah, and I mean, really, I just I feel like I've been mentioning and like sounding alarms about this for a little while to like people I know. I feel like maybe I've even said it to you on here,
Huh?
just saying, "Hey, have you looked into Project 2025?" And now it feels like all of a sudden, like major news networks and stuff are finally picking it up. Did you notice that?
Hmm.
Isn't it like,
Yes, they've been talking about it.
yeah, but only real recently. Like it's been going on and it's been there to be like
It's been
shared.
available for a
It's been
while.
available for quite a while. So
Uh-huh.
the fact that they're now starting to cover it makes me even more scared because we know that all of the media is essentially owned by just, a handful of people, and you only really talk about on those things what they want you to talk about. So if they're like comfortable putting it out there and talking about it now, I feel like it's because what's done is done. It's already too late. Now we can be like, oh no, that's horrible. But I don't know.
Yeah. So do you want to give an overview for those that do not know?
Oh yeah,
I
sorry.
mean, do you want to give like a little blurb on the 900 something page document that
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know how to sum it up myself, I guess. I've heard a lot of people do it, but essentially, I guess it's 2025 is it's through the Heritage Foundation, which is a conservative Christian group, um,
Hmm.
who has put in place their plan for what America should look like and what they want to enact, and they've been moving forward with, their steps to make us a Christian nation, essentially, because they really feel like that's like the historic America is a Christian nation.
Yeah.
And this is their plan to restore that, essentially. It definitely dismantles a lot of things that are in place currently and rights that people have. I think the scariest part about it for me that I've learned about is that they have like their own program for training people who could be taking seats in different like areas of the government. They've been kind of preparing people who are
Hmm.
like-minded to fill positions of power where they plan on ousting other people. Um,
Yeah.
Phil, I mean, I don't know. What are your first
Well,
thoughts or overview, I
um,
guess?
okay. So I watched a few videos on it and tried to get a
Grasp.
good feel for it. Yes.
Hmm.
And I feel like I'm kind of in a unique position because not that long ago, I was totally on that side. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And I'm farther removed
I
from
can
it.
see from mhm.
And I think it makes me a little
um
too like it's almost like
ah
I'm a little too to like speak about it clearly because it really freaks me the
yeah.
fuck out.
Well, the things I'll talk about both sides
Okay.
because I feel very strongly both ways. The things that I don't mind about it, I don't mind that there is a group of Americans who got together and said, "Hey, we feel very strongly about certain points. We feel like mm, um, we need to band together, kind of. We need to stand strong and say, hey, this is a viewpoint of a lot of people here, and we want to be heard and understood and that kind of thing." Totally okay with that. I'm even okay with them having, I want to call them schools, but they're not really schools. They're just places to train people to be government officials. Like, I'm okay with that. I would be okay with that with any sort of group that got put forward. Totally fine. I think that's kind of the way things should be. Um, yeah, I don't mind the organization at all. Don't mind
Okay.
that at all. The things I do mind on this are they are trying for to put it in a nutshell, they're trying to make it easier for the president to enact the things that he wants without all the bureaucracy behind him. And I'm not a huge fan of that. I think everybody, especially those in power, need checks and balances from people they don't agree with. Like, I think checks and balances are what keeps everything running. What's what keeps us
Yeah.
from a dictatorship and what keeps us from tyranny. And even if you really like the president right now or the president that you're putting forth, putting those rules into place where the president basically has the say and he doesn't have to answer to certain groups means that you're opening the doors for dictatorships and for tyranny and for horrible people to come into power later. So, not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Would do you agree with that, or am I just rambling?
I mean, no. I mean, I'm hearing you think I don't necessarily feel the same way as you know.
That's okay.
As far as the first like a group of people saying, "Hey, this is how we feel and like we need to be represented." Do you really feel like the Christians have not been represented and allowed to live their beliefs?
No, and
Never, never
that
once
in it
have they.
no, in my mind though, it's like I'm not pushing them down. I'm like, let's have other groups come in and do the same thing.
Yeah,
Let's start some discussions here. Let's
for
instead of
sure.
us just saying you can't do that, be like, let's put some more thoughts forward. This is how ideas get
I think the scary part is they're not just starting a discussion. I think this was enacted and put in
there.
place very, like, quite a while ago. Like, this has been a very
Yeah.
long term, like the long game type thing.
Yeah.
And it was very smart of them to
Hmm.
do that. But they feel like they're losing their grounds as like Christians, but they're not. No, there are literally no laws to restrict anybody in the Christian faith. There are laws that allow other people to live outside of it, like
Mhm.
protecting LGBTQ rights and things like that. But those things don't hurt Christians. Like they hurt their senses because they don't like it, but it doesn't actually hurt them. And most of their policies put in place things that block people from living outside of the way that they believe you should live, which
That's
is is not
that's where we need
is
opposing views.
yeah, like you those views that they have that to them are like I get that they're not bad people. I don't think they're bad people. I think they're
Most
really
people
like
are good.
working to yeah, to save the country. They just don't realize that like their way of life has literally never been put in jeopardy. It has always been allowed. They have always had the freedom. It's just that as they've watched other people gain access to the same freedoms, it makes them feel like theirs is somehow maybe less important. I don't know. I don't really get it, but the
Well,
scary
I
part for
think,
me is the
yeah, keep going.
authoritarian aspect of it.
Hmm. Well, I think where they're feeling the stress, this particular group of Christians,
Hmm.
is that we are a lot more open to different views right now. Like there's never been a time in our history where people could be openly gay or where other other religions have been heard, or even a big enough group of like agnostic or atheist, or it's not just a Christian nation anymore. And to
It
uphold
never
Christian,
was.
well, in order to uphold, but for those who have lived there, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
For
I did. I
I
did
remember
live
feeling,
there,
yeah,
but
and
those
you feel
feelings
like the more
aren't real.
other views come into play, the harder it is for you to not just live it yourself, but to teach your kids. And you feel like there's so many outside influences, and it can be really scary if you're taught this is the only way to happiness, and then you watch everybody else come in and live different ways. It scares you, it terrifies you, and you're like, how can my kids live in this world? How can they grow up? This is scary. This is terrifying. We need to band together.
The only
And of
power it takes from them is
course,
the power to control the narrative, though.
yes, exactly. Exactly. And one thing it takes out of the conversation is, okay, you're Americans, you're Christians, this is great. We need to make sure that our sides are heard. But guess what? The other sides are just as American as you, and they have just as much right to live here
Yeah.
as you, and they have just as much right to have their sides heard
And
and to
we
not be
have
forced to live a
morals
way
of
that,
our own and believe
of
ourselves
course,
to be good people and don't
mhm,
need an outside damning source to make us want to be
yeah.
good. A love for humanity and our earth is enough to make us want to be good.
And
So,
both sides are equally valid. Like,
yeah, but their
um,
plan does not allow for that.
well, they are fighting for what they think is
I
the
know.
plan that should go forward. But it does, the things that are scary for me in particular
Mhm.
are, I'm really confused as to why they have hit women's reproductive health so hard. Like it feels very Handmaid's Tale.
Mhm.
Access to abortion, I can I can see the debate there because one side feels like they're fighting for life and the other one feels like they're fighting for the
For
people who are already
life,
here
for literally
for
the
life.
freedom to live one's
Yeah.
life the way you choose.
Hmm.
We're all fighting for life.
And both of those are great things to fight
Yeah.
for. Um,
I
so
think
I
they're
can kind of
being
see that one,
told
but
lies. The on the Christian side, I think they're being told that abortion is being used to like murder babies and like
yeah,
each woman's individual experience is so different, but there is nobody out there actively seeking to just murder babies. It's not
mhm,
real. And if there is, that's an evil individual, and you should seek them out, and they will be punished because that is against the law. And that is just,
yeah,
most of us could see that that would be bad. There are people killing other people too. You know what I mean? Like, but abortion as like being taught to people as murder is is so just
It's a little
like,
narrow-minded.
it's so narrow-minded, and it's teaching it to people who have never had to experience it. Like, if this is not part of your experience in your life, you need to kindly get the fuck out of the conversation.
Well, and I will fight on the sides of people who do not want to have an abortion. I will make sure to fight for them so that they never have to have one. Nobody
Has
can tell them
anybody
to have
ever
one.
been forced to have an
And
abortion? Ever?
well, what I'm saying is like you're allowed to have your beliefs and you're allowed to live them. And should that ever come into play, absolutely, I will be right beside you fighting for you, but I will also be fighting for this other person's right to have one. Like
Yeah. See, but the
it's
difference is
it's a choice.
nobody is forcing abortions on anybody. They like, I think that
There's
the propaganda of it tells people that's happening, but show me
mhm.
the reality. Show me that in real life. Like anybody, if anybody
Yeah,
wants to,
it's
please
not
find
I don't think it's a
actual
real problem right
instances,
now.
because it's not, and it never has been. It's stupid,
Mhm.
like cultural things that they get us to fight about. Because I
Yeah.
know for the Christians, their battle is because they're right fighting against Mormon, but I'm not Mormon. Sorry, they're fighting against abortion because murder or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
I just saw Trump in a speech the other day being like, and I'm going to give good, he's going to give basically tax credits or whatever. And I'm like, that's great. He's like, because we need more babies. We love the babies. We need more babies. Why does he need more babies? It's not the Christian reason. I'll tell you that, because he fears
No, it's
no one.
because they
He
need
clearly fears no God. They need more people to continue the system we have right now. That is the only
yep.
reason why. So like, the elites need more people to continue the system that works for them. And the Christians are being used essentially, and then also using Trump, I believe, to enact their conservative plans, because I kind of feel like Trump thinks has more power than he has. I think he's been a mouthpiece and they've got a lot of people to follow him. But when it comes down to it, he has so many skeletons in his closet that when he stops
Well,
playing along with the Christians, because he says that he is not behind 2025, when he stops playing along with them, all they have to do is stop sharing his lies and start saying, no,
well,
there's a truth. Look how many times he was with Epstein. Look at his call logs with Epstein. That's not just a minor thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
no.
kind of crazy. Like,
Well, if we're getting around right down to that, I
yeah.
am sickened by both of our prospects, so I'm just gonna leave that there.
Yeah. What
Um,
is it you really dislike about Biden? What's the biggest thing you dislike about him? Because do you think of him as like he himself is just like a bad human, like the way I feel about Trump being a bad human?
I think Biden has always seemed like a figurehead to me. Like I don't think he's participating much in any of the policy making. I think he's just there. And as he gets older, it's more and more apparent that it's like nursing home time.
Yeah, like
And I
he's
know the
clearly
media
old for
exaggerates
sure.
that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, but
The,
when you watch the debate, like
but
if you watched the full thing, like there were
couldn't do it.
moments where he, you know, like, and I don't know if he's literally just saying it, but Trump's saying the opposite, and I know I don't want that. So maybe
Hmm.
both sides are just bad, but he's the only one talking about raising taxes on the rich and only above 400,000. Most Americans,
Don't do
all
that.
that I know, literally everyone that I know would not be affected by that. So it's literally
No, there's
just
some
that
good points
there's
for
some very good
sure.
points, but zero
But I think we need to know who's actually
in charge.
leading. Who's
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
All I
If
know
we're going
is
for
that
president,
they're
I know.
both bad options,
Mhm.
but one feels like the handmaid's tale to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've known so many people who make good leaders in different aspects. Clearly not the president of the United States, but when you're around people who actually lead well, who are um, I don't know, who are able to interact with different sides and bring people together and unite people and still bring forth like good outcomes that are good for everybody and that make you feel like at least we're headed in a good direction. When you see these two assholes on a stage arguing about golf, you're like, we
So
we
it was
can
so
do
dumb.
so much better than this. We can do so, and it's embarrassing.
Well,
Super embarrassing. We have good leaders. Why
Yeah,
aren't they
but
here?
because we make it so hard to get there because you have to make money and campaign. Like the way we get our leaders is so
Yeah,
broken and stupid that like
yeah,
yeah, you
I
almost
will
have to
agree
be
with that
corrupt. You
wholeheartedly.
almost have to be corrupt to make it anywhere because you have to take
There's no
money
almost.
from like people with other interests to make it anywhere and then you're under their
Yeah,
thumb. That's why um that represent us thing that I keep talking about. I know I mentioned it quite a few times. I
yeah,
finally went on and like registered to start getting like more information about it and stuff like that and maybe get involved
yeah,
because basically it's a movement pushing to to make laws to make the corruption that is now legal illegal because we can't do anything
yeah.
to change it until those things are till laws are passed that make it illegal. So we can look at it and be like,
Yes.
this is clearly wrong, but there's
Hmm.
nothing we can do because there's no laws.
Yeah.
Like we're so dumb that
Well,
we just,
and there
well, if
are
it
laws.
wasn't
They're
for the
just,
book,
yeah.
easy to
Well, and
scapegoat
there,
around or
yeah,
yeah,
we need to we need to tighten up on a lot of things. I agree with that.
yeah,
Um, Back to the 2025,
yeah.
a few more reproductive health things that concern me. Why are they hitting in vitro fertilization so hard? Like that blows my mind every time. Like,
I can
does
only see
God
the
not like
conservative
test
side. I
tube
can only
babies?
see the conservative side of them saying you're playing God.
Yeah, but that's really like unto,
But I don't agree with it. I think it's
oh, of
stupid. I
course you
just
don't.
remember hearing that. So, you know,
But it's the same kind of feel as the kind of religions that are like, you cannot have a blood transfusion because that's playing God, or you
yeah.
can't have medicines because if God wanted you to live, you would. Like,
There
that's like, if don't you think that if there's a God that is the God you think he is, that when he gives you these ways to help with these health issues, that's him saying, here you go, like, have help?
yeah.
I don't know. I,
I
eh,
obviously think that way, like so I don't know why that. And if anybody does know why they're attacking in vitro so hard, and if you can give some sort of a valid reason why that would be, something that should be
I don't get
limited.
that one.
Yeah, I definitely don't get them trying to ban the the medicine that's used for abortions because it's used in so many cases of things that are termed abortion but are really like just complications that happen in pregnancy, so they call it a spontaneous abortion, but like it's
Yeah,
like it's not even a choice that's being made. This fetus has already like died, and if those medicines aren't
yeah.
available, like they're hi. I
Hi.
love that he comes every week for a hug.
Yeah. You just need some love.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
No, that's okay. I did I make a point? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, okay, you were talking about, oh,
The
I think I've
pill?
mentioned before. Yeah. I think I've
Okay.
mentioned before that I had a miscarriage and needed a
Me as well.
D&C. And yeah, and if that had not been available to me, I mean, bad things could have happened and I wouldn't have my oldest daughter because timing wise,
Yeah.
if I didn't have that D&C, then
You could
I
also
wouldn't have.
argue
So,
who's playing
but
God? Those who are not allowing scientific discoveries we've made to help women like make their own choices. You taking away those
uh-huh.
choices, are you not playing your own kind of God,
Yep.
in making decisions
And
for anybody else?
yeah. And the way motherhood was introduced to me, like religiously, caused me a lot of stress because the thought that there were kids up in heaven waiting for me just to
Yeah.
decide to have a baby, if I really thought that was true, like there were just kids waiting in a line and that it's my fault for being too stressed out to have another kid, or like to feel like I
Yeah.
have enough children, or I would literally like be in the fetal position on the floor in like a emotional mess of a puddle and still be like, okay, I need to get pregnant because these kids need to be here. You know what I mean? It is not beneficial to anybody. It's it's so beneficial to be able to say, what do we have the energy for? What does our family look like? let's plan ahead maybe a little bit. Let's put a little thought into this because these are human lives that need to be taken care of.
Yeah. That has
It
not ever been a part of
That
it
makes
though.
sense to me.
Because me being one of 10 children whose mom was told by like a bishopric or a state leader or something that like if you choose not to have the babies that they could go to unbelieving families and like putting that on
So
her.
sick.
Yeah, yeah. In that way, it's kind of like, and for my mom, who I love so much, she's such a great woman, but she is not what you would call a nurturing person. Like, she's not very
Mhm.
good at having emotions or emoting at all. Like, it's just like basically, while we were cared for, we were left to our own devices in a lot of ways, in most ways. And
Yeah,
I just don't feel like, like I don't know, like I'm not gonna say it was bad because I wasn't like harmed by it, but I also wasn't like
you saw it
care
firsthand.
I wasn't cared for to cultivate any, things the way that I like to do for my daughters. And I'm like, I feel like having like intention and really valuing the life of the child like supersedes just
Popping them
replenishing
out.
the population to continue working for this system that clearly does not work for most. Like there should be it, like I believe having children is beautiful and I love it and I think a lot more women would love it if it were like really valued and if we taught like the realness of it. Like you have this little human that's like a little best friend. Like you love them in a way that it's hard to explain to anybody who doesn't have that connection because it's just they're literally a part of you, but they're also their
Yeah,
own individual human being and you need to be able to support them like that's just
emotionally,
not, yeah.
financially,
There's so
physically,
many
all of
things
the
to
things.
think about other than just God. Like we answered too many questions with God. Like I always go back to my dad telling Anthony when he asked if he could marry me, and he's just like, "I wish you went to church more." And it's just like, yeah, because God would have, helped us with all of our issues. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just like it feels like such a cop out. It's just
kind of
I
does
don't want to think about it at all.
in a
I've
lot
been
of
given
ways.
an answer. Cop out.
I used it as a cop out a lot. Like
Yeah.
me personally, there's a lot of things that I went through where I'm like, yeah, I should have been a big girl and made decisions at that point. Like instead of praying to change other people, I'm like, maybe
It's
this
hard to
is
take
something you
personal
need to figure out.
accountability when you haven't been like you have like there's always something bigger than you at play.
Well, I
It's
do
not
think there are
you, there's
bigger
yeah.
things than us, but
Maybe there
yeah,
are, but
but
you
not to use it as a
have
cop
to
out.
yeah, you have to whether or not there's that shouldn't be like an excuse for you not to make decisions for yourself and
Yeah,
just accept what answer has been given to you.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
and a ban on birth control seems so weird. Like, I don't know. I don't know if you've ever had like a pregnancy scare or a period that's come late or something like that where you're like, oh my gosh. Like, and then you panic until you find out you're not. Like,
Hmm.
it's not a good feeling and it's not a way to live your life.
Hmm.
It's not something you want to feel every month. Like,
No. And really, that's the thing they don't get. It is all a very like nobody is making some decision to kill someone. Their initial reaction is just trying to be in control of their own life and what they
mhm.
can handle and what that child would deserve. Just demanding that they all be, I don't know.
Demanding that thousands and thousands of women who are unprepared to be parents at a certain time be parents feels terrible. And I think there are still going to be many, many women who choose to keep babies that they don't feel prepared for. It's not like we're mass killing all of them. It's just
No,
like
most of us have
it
babies
has to
we're not
be,
prepared for. We
yep,
figure it out. Yeah.
we figure it out. But for those, I don't know. I just think birth control needs to be an option for people, and even abortion needs to be an option for people. And there may be some gray area in there somewhere, but in general, stop it. Stop handmade tailing
Yeah.
women's reproductive health.
And if
It
we
doesn't feel good.
absolutely must put some sort of a ban in place, it needs to be like 20 weeks. or something where
Yeah.
you have to have made a decision by, and after that, it would be only
And that's, yeah, and we can
in the
debate that.
cases of like health or something like that. But they push for like as soon as there's a heartbeat, as soon, which a lot of people don't even know they're pregnant at that point in time. So they're not allowed to like make a
Mhm.
decision. And their thing would be, I guess, well, then don't have sex. Or, because condoms
Yeah.
break, that happens. Guys will take it off because it's uncomfortable, and then all the consequences are on the girl. There's just birth
Things
control
happen.
sometimes doesn't work. Like
Taking one past the goalie. Yeah.
there are so many things that people who are being careful can still get pregnant. But
And
I
it's a
don't think all those
life-changing
things
thing.
really matter. I think it just matters that it's an individual's experience and decision to make. And we're trying
Yeah.
to like govern it, and we need to stop.
Mhm. And I love the people who give these speeches and they're like, well, if you don't want to get pregnant, just keep your legs closed. And I'm like, even in the most Christian of Christian times in this world has ever seen, that's never worked. People have
No,
always had sex.
it
I
just
mean, that's
teaches
just
ignorance too, because
given.
sex is natural. Sex is
Mhm.
okay. Why don't we just need to teach so much more about sex and stop being so afraid of it and stop
Stop
stigmatizing it
pussyfooting
like
around.
it's like yeah, like it's such a bad thing. Like yes, it is how babies are made. That's a really natural way to explain it to a child. But then as you get older, yes, it's natural that you're going to feel an attraction and that it's going to stimulate parts of your body because we are animals and we are going to get aroused, and that's natural. And all of the different things that I learned in the church chronically kept me like suppressing. Not even I don't think I allowed myself to even like grow up because I wouldn't even allow myself to think about things to where it was hard to think
Yeah.
about when I got older, and it was such a stupid trial for me. And I'm like, why do that to people? Just be fucking honest. It's not hard to explain. It's just
Like
hard to
kids
control
aren't
people when you
stupid.
don't
Yeah.
allow, if you allow them to speak or know anything.
Yeah.
But other people's sexuality is not hurting anybody else. Other people's like we just I'm not about um the whole like if it's not your business, stay out of it, because I'm not all the way that way, because I do feel like there are people who need help and can't help themselves. So if somebody's not like there to help those people, you know what I mean? But I also am
Yeah.
like, but if it's there are certain things that need to be personal. And I think bodily autonomy has to be a hard and fast, like
Yeah.
you don't get
Well,
to tell anybody what to do with their body.
and it's really important to remember that most gods that I've ever heard of,
Hmm.
my parents took us to several different churches when we were growing up just to give us a wide range, and I've looked a little into very many.
Hmm.
Not many gods that I have ever heard of are when you get to the pearly gates or whatever heaven looks like for you, is going to say, did you force this woman into parenthood? Or, did you make sure that there were no gay people around for children to
Yeah.
see? Did you like,
Did you
no,
police everybody else and their
you
decisions?
police everybody and their
No, it's
decisions
about your
in my
fucking
name.
self. Yeah.
It's about yourself. How did you live? Can you hear
And if
that in the
I
background?
was it a cat? Or am I hearing a cat on my side?
No,
What?
it's hang on. Hey, hey, Cody,
I didn't
would you
hear it.
shut my door?
What was it? I didn't hear it.
Would hang on one second.
Okay.
Don't.
Cody, put on
Love
some
you.
clothes.
No, he's wearing clothes. 100%. No, it was an AC/DC sing along going on downstairs.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
If you can
Little blip.
hear, there's Bon Jovi rocking in the room next to me because Anthony's working with some Bon Jovi on. So,
Nice. Very nice. Um,
anyways,
okay, I don't think it was along the same lines, but did you hear of there was some sort of ban in libraries where you have to be 18 years old to check out books?
I
I
hadn't
need
heard
to
of
look
that,
into that.
but I
I need
think
to look
that would
into that
be also
because of,
highly suspect and stupid. But I guess
Yeah.
then what we could do is just go check out books and give them to our children. Say, hey, we approve of this so that
Well, I watched a video where someone was saying it's really funny that they can force like a 13-year-old to have a baby, but she can't check
yeah,
out books to read to them.
yeah. There's
So
a whole lot of like idiot.
idiocy.
Yeah. Like I don't want
Yeah.
to be mean,
I
but
mean,
like it just are you wearing, hold on. Is your necklace a Playboy bunny? Oh,
no,
okay, I think it was the
it's a hummingbird.
way. Okay, the way it was,
Not that
it made
there's
me
anything wrong with that.
No, I used
It's a
to when I
hummingbird.
used to go to tanning beds, which because it was like
Yeah.
a big thing when we were in college, I was so fucking naive. Nobody ever saw it, but I had a Playboy bunny, like Mark right just under underwear.
Woo.
That's how I
Yep. I
monitored
think that
my
was so
tan.
common.
Yeah, that,
Yep.
but I
Mine
was
was a
like
little heart.
in Provo, Utah, picking the little
Peekaboo.
I was I was
Yeah.
I was secretly trying to be sexy, but nobody saw it, so
You hussy. Do you remember the necklace I used to wear all the time that was an outhouse?
I do not.
You do not.
Where'd you get that
I
from?
found one online. I found one online. I need to go buy it
Well, where'd
again.
you get it in the first place?
Me and a friend of mine got him when we were like 14 at Claire's in the mall or something like that.
You still had it.
And
Love it.
it just looked like this little box with a little heart on it. And you open it up and there's a guy sitting on the toilet reading a newspaper. And that was my favorite necklace.
Should definitely get another one of those.
I do need one. I
Yeah.
do need one.
All right. Anyways, sorry
Yeah.
about that.
No, you're good.
It still kind of
So
looks like it, but that's okay.
it's not a Playboy bunny. It's it's a hummingbird. Um, so also sidetrack story. My daughter got this for me for Christmas.
Mhm.
And that same year, I had picked out a little hummingbird necklace for her somewhere and like months before and had just kept it and we didn't know. So we gave them to each other and we're like, oh.
That is cute. I remember you telling me that.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So
And this was my Mother's
there's
Day
the
present.
light. Oh, I can't see very well.
It's a little bow. The lighting sucks here.
Oh, that's really cute. I like it.
Bella gave me this for Mother's
Beautiful.
Day.
And I
Yeah,
like your shirt too.
it's cute. Thanks. It's a dress that I'm wearing like a shirt.
Nice. Perfect.
I literally
That's
didn't
my
take off
favorite.
my jean shorts. I just put on the dress and then left it ruffled in the middle. But it's yeah, just a cute
I do
dress.
that all the time.
But thank you.
All the time. I love it.
Anyways, back on topic.
Perfect. Okay, back on topic. So, instead of being the voices that are just like, okay, you people see problems in the country and you're trying to solve them. No, 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 no. What do we do to combat?
Well, I
What's our plan?
well, my plan is to vote
Post project.
literally opposed Project 2025, which even though Trump is stating that, because I heard that he said, no, I don't know anything about that or whatever. He's mentioned in it like 300 something times, and people from his cabinet are part of it. Like things where he's like, he's not as detached as he's wanting people to believe, number one. And I know he has his own agenda. Was it Agenda 47? Which, like, you hear the thing where
I don't
he's
know.
like, I'm only going to be a dictator on day one. And that's to basically like clear out what he calls the swamp, which is to clear out all of, the people who don't necessarily think like him and fill it with people who they have ready to go into those spots. And wouldn't you know it, 2025 has been prepping those candidates. And so making sure that they all think the same and are like-minded, which is definitely going to make it a lot easier to enact some of these things. And then look at the Supreme Court, who keeps doing things to take away our rights, but also to give more rights to the president. You saw, I'm sure, the most recent where basically making the president immune to prosecution and things like that. Like it's
Yeah,
really
that's not a
just
good
being
idea.
set up on that side to where like all I feel like I can do right now is vote Democratic. Not because I believe in them, but because I believe so staunchly against the other.
I think that's
And
so
I
like
hate
no, no,
that.
no. I totally agree with you, but I hate that that has to be an option. Like
I
you hate the
know.
other side so much. Why can't we have a side that we like? Why can't we have a side that makes sense for all of us?
Because the way that the country has been built and the way that people climb and get to places of power is almost unreachable to like just
Your
the
average Joe.
regular, yeah, exactly, your average Joe. That's why you only find just It's
Yeah.
just so broken that it's just disheartening. But
We need to fix that.
the Represent Us movement does give me some hope for just being able to eventually hold people accountable, I hope. Um, but I really
That
don't
I
know what
like.
I'm gonna do because I just guess I have to hope that if Trump wins and they start to enact some things that we are able to stand up as a people and say no to it strong enough. However, like I know they've talked about every time people protest and stuff like that, which that becomes like our only means to do. Um,
Yeah.
they shut them down because you're an opposing view, and they can use like, the National Guard and things like that, and start us. I don't know. It all just scares me. Like it just doesn't
If
feel
you
good. Like
talk,
I feel like if he wins, I'm gonna have to fucking fight because if they don't win, they've already said they'll fight. You've heard that, right? How he said if I don't win, it's gonna be a bloodbath, and other people who are with Trump make these like broad claims. I'm like, I don't want any of that. But I
I
also
don't
am
want any of
not
it.
going to allow my girls to have no rights, way less rights than me.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that like Project 2025 wants to enact that I'm so wholeheartedly against.
Hmm.
I don't know what I would do. I mean, who
Yeah.
what do you think we
Hard to
should
know.
do?
I like what you were saying about the other group. Say their name again.
Represent us.
Represent Us.
Like
Yes, I
represent
like that a
US.
lot.
Jennifer
Yeah.
Lawrence has made like quite a few videos for them, and she explained, they lay it out a lot better than I do. I'm a little too heated on this particular topic. I feel like it makes me stupid almost. Like I'm just like 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 how
Uh,
is this real life?
there's a lot of that. I feel that way about the election in general.
Yeah.
I don't love it. So I get it. Um, no, Represent Us would be good. Enacting some of the laws we already have would be fantastic. Like clearing out the swamp like through the legal system would be ginormous. Let's do all of that. But if you talk to people who have lived in countries with dictators and tyrants, um, Yenmi Park, one of those two. Anyway, she came from North Korea. When
Was
she
she
talks about,
on Joe Rogan?
she's been on Joe Rogan, she's been on a lot of
I feel like
places.
I
Listen to a
watched her
couple
whole
of
thing
hers.
on Joe Rogan. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. And when she talks about like how they take away your freedoms in the name of, I promise a better world. I promise all these things. You will have a better life because of me. Yeah, I will have all the power, but don't worry about it because it's all going to be good. And it never, ever lasts. And it's always terrible. And then it becomes less and less things you can do. So I'd say wherever we have checks and balances in place, we need to keep them, even if it's
Yeah.
inconvenient for those in power. It's supposed to
Yeah.
be like, it's supposed to
And
be.
and Trump clearly doesn't believe that for himself. He believes he is above that and will try to enact
Mhm.
it. And I don't see the other
Yeah.
side trying to do that. So it's like the lesser
Well,
of
and
two
even if
evils is all we have to deal with.
well, and even if Trump was the savior that these people are thinking that he is, which is so weird.
It is
Um,
so weird.
but even if he was, and you put these things into place, somewhere along the line, someone's going to come into power who is not so good and who uses the breakdown of the rules that they're putting in place here to cause all sorts of havoc and all sorts of trouble, and it will be
They
almost
already
impossible.
are. Somebody's gonna come along. Roe v. Wade
No, I know.
overturned. Oh, you know what I
You're
mean?
right.
Like somebody's
No, but I
already
mean
come
even
along and
but I'm
started
I'm talking
like
like North
bullshit.
Korea version, like
It has to start
someone.
somewhere. Someone
Mhm.
already came along.
Yeah. So keep the checks and balances. Maybe lay off the women a little bit,
A lot of
like
it. Lay off
a
the
lot of it,
LGBTQ community because they are not attacking you. They are not
and
hurting
they're
you.
not going
They're
anywhere.
not
They're
going anywhere. And
humans who
they've
are
been
in this
here
country,
forever
and
and living underneath, either in suppression and pretending, because I have a lot of firsthand experience with that too, watching people's lives crumble because people had to suppress it. And then when they
Mhm.
finally can no longer pretend to be something else and come out, then they have started a family. Like it's not better to force people to live in a repressed state just for your sensibility so that everything looks the way you want it to look. you
Yeah.
know?
And now that you're getting a larger community of people who were able to say, hey, this is the way I feel, this is how I want to live my life, and they didn't get completely smashed when they came out, you're seeing healthy relationships, you're seeing like awesome people living awesome ways, and it's
Hmm.
really, really great. And so then to tell them, yeah, we don't really want you, like, we're gonna make you
Yeah.
go back undercover,
Yeah,
sounds
because
really
we're
stupid.
gonna make laws that make living that way illegal and
Mm.
yeah, like just
Yep.
stupidness. Those are my, my words. I don't
Stupidity,
know.
stupidity, dumbness.
Have you seen
So
Idiocracy?
haven't, I should. I've
You
thought about it.
should. You
I haven't
should.
seen it.
It's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave. You really should watch
Indeed.
it. You really should
Okay,
watch it. It's so dumb but
I
so
will.
funny. Yeah, it's a good one. But
Okay.
it's like it's supposed to be the like a dystopian future. I'm like, oh yeah, now it feels more like, oh, that could be real. Yeah.
You know what we should do a podcast on is like
What?
movies that like actually made you think or actually like put forth like a really thoughtful topic. Like anyway,
Okay.
possibly.
Okay. I don't
So
know if I can't think of
just a
anything off
thought
the
there.
top of my head, but I'm sure if I gave it some thought.
All right.
Oh wait, I just
Well,
thought
we
of
don't
one.
have to do it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll
Sweet.
do that
We're
one.
on our way,
Yeah.
man.
Anyways.
But yeah, so hopefully we can find enough to support in government to I don't know, push things the way we need them to go.
I don't know either.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, like with seeing Project 2025 everywhere in the news and then like looking through the comments, there are plenty of people who definitely agree with
Hmm.
Project 2025 and see it as a great thing. And so
God's
that,
will.
yeah, so I know certain people want to live that way. Wouldn't it be great if they could just live that way? Let's say and just go to church and live that way and not need other people to live that way for them to know that what they were doing was right for them. Because if it feels right for you, then do it. But
So
like,
hard though.
but no, it's not. It's
No,
only
I know,
hard
but
because
it's
they've been
when you're
taught that like,
yes.
but live and let live a little bit more. No one's taking away your God, your right to believe in your God, your way to live. We're just allowing other people to live too, and it really upsets them.
Yeah. But they're told that this is the only way to happiness. So of course they want to share it with everybody and they would like to force everybody into happiness. Like would I don't know. It's
Do you
I can't even
remember?
say it.
I
I
mean,
like
so growing up Mormon, there's the plan of happiness, that Satan was the one who wanted to make everybody
wanted
behave a
to
certain
force
way.
everybody
He
into
wanted to force
submission. Yeah.
everybody into submission. He wanted to take away our free will. So
Yeah, that's kind of
it
lost
almost makes
on.
you wonder if the feelings they get from their God are making them want to do that, if they're following a God at all, or like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No, I have that's not lost on me. I've thought that many times. Like,
I'm just like, yeah,
it was
where's the free will? Like you want your free will and you want everybody else to have your same free will. Your own
we
will.
used to in primary we used to sing the song that was like Jesus said love everyone, treat
Uh-huh.
them kindly too. And now I'm like, are they thinking that song was like Jesus said love everyone except for these guys and these ones and this
Yeah.
like it's not how the song goes. That's not what the scripture says. That's not what your very own scriptures say. Like
Yeah.
if Jesus was here, he wouldn't be doing this. Just FYI. I shouldn't put
Yeah.
words in his mouth, but according to what I've read,
Yeah.
that's that's the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I wish I could see the country or just like the world in 20 years. I hope for us all that we just somehow find a way to be better humans. Like after this last generation of like old people maybe passes, maybe we can let go of some of their old things or something. In some ways, it feels like that's
There's a
what's
lot
going to
of truth to
happen.
that.
That certain people who think a certain way are literally just going to have to die off so we can let go of some of the bullshit.
I think that's true. I think that's
I
really
don't
true
know.
because I know a lot of like, not a lot. I know several fairly racist old people who do not think the way that I think. Like, and
Uh-huh.
I think a lot of views on just women in general have changed a lot over the years. And I think as the kids that come up behind us, they take the things that make sense or they try to, and there's always a balance of tradition and what makes sense. And it seems like the next generation always does a little bit better job of like finding things that make sense for them.
Yeah. I mean,
If you know
it's
what that
still
means. There.
the like the different agendas are very still strong at play. Like living
Mhm.
in the
Yeah.
South here in Florida, the churches like on every corner, the vacation Bible schools and the church camps and all that stuff
I
that
used
people
to
are
go to
doing.
vacation Bible
Yeah,
school.
yeah, like they're still doing very well and they see that as natural and normal. And
Hmm.
they don't even see that that's like what they would if we were to do that type of level things with anything like let me teach you about somebody who's different from you like this person is gay that would be no you were but you can spend all of their time all their free time teaching them this one story and that's not pushing something on somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a lot of the pot calling the kettle black.
Yes, there's a lot of that.
It's
There's mostly that and it scares them.
self-reflection.
Most of it is a bunch of fear mongering. They're afraid of what
Hmm.
God's gonna think. They're gonna think like there's
I used to get really, I used to get really unnerved, a little bit, not really scared, but like unnerved is probably a good word for having religious conversations with people who believe differently than me. Like, because I was like, I feel so strongly about this and I know that it's true. It's just whether or not I'm able to describe it. And a lot of the times I couldn't because, uh, it was just,
there's
and
a bit of faith that you just have to accept things that can't be explained.
uh-huh.
That's
And if you just have the same faith that I have, then you would feel it too, and we'd all be better off. Like, it's, there is a lot of that. And that uneasy feeling doesn't just go away. And like I can see why they're fighting so hard for it because they're like, well, this is what I've been taught,
it
and
does
I
go away.
maybe I can't explain it all, and
It
maybe
does
there's
go
different
away when
views,
you
but
let go of that because I want to
letting
talk
go is so
about
hard though.
everything. And even when we
Yeah,
disagree, I'm okay with being like, yeah, I don't agree
of
with you.
course.
And it's okay for
Yeah,
us to be like, you have that belief and I have this belief. But when I was part of it, that wasn't okay. You had to avoid it because like, yeah, and I'm
don't
like
listen
that.
to dissenting voices. That was a lesson we heard
Exactly.
a lot.
Exactly. And it's just I feel like I don't know. I'm lost with what
Yeah,
I feel on this. I'm angry and I don't know.
yeah.
I'm just I'm pissed off. Pissed off that this is where we're at with our country. Like we were taught so
We
much
should be so
pride.
much further.
We were taught so much pride and that like and then like only the histories that like served the current narrative and all this stuff. And then now we're sitting here looking at the reality of it and I'm like I'm mad at the church. I'm mad at the government. I'm mad at all the stupid fucking lies. And I'm mad at the people who keep listening to and perpetuating it all. And how can we get
Yeah,
out of this stupid cycle?
we just have to get to the point where we can organize a little bit and figure out what matters to us and find
Yeah. We
like-minded
need to
people.
organize
Because
as
sitting,
well as Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation
Mhm.
have,
Yeah,
where
if you keep playing
Walmart and
defense,
McDonald's and all have donated to the Heritage Foundation, by the way. So I
really,
think I'm going to look up all the different people who donate to the Heritage Foundation and just stop.
yeah, that's important.
Just stop. Like,
Yeah. Well, I don't want to be just the person where people bring ideas forth and I'm just like, nope, not that. And then somebody else brings another idea and you're like, nope, not that. We
yeah.
gotta find a way, find what is important to us, bring it forward. Like
Yeah. I
that's important.
agree, but you have to find what's important to you. And also
and
allow
like-minded
people to
people.
find what's important to them.
Well, if what's important to you is hearing all sides, then I think that's
I
a
guess,
good value to have.
yeah, I
Sorry,
guess where
my
my,
words aren't wording.
no, you're doing good. I guess where my fault lies is that I feel like I've already heard that side because I was that side. So I really don't want to hear it anymore. So I'm like,
Right.
I've said all the things you say. I felt all the things you feel. It's an
Hmm.
intrinsic voice that you've trained yourself to use. And like without your just flat out belief without facts, I can't get there. And there's no way I can go back to that point. So
You
it's hard
can't.
to listen, but I
Mhm.
need to be more able to listen without just completely like it makes me just like you like
Well, it's really hard to argue with the side that can win with, well, God said so.
exactly.
Like,
Yeah, and I'm like, but what if there's not a God? Let's just take God out of it. What feels good? Can't do that. Can't do that. Nope. God. Can't think for myself. Can't even
well, and
pretend.
if you break it down to all the different Christian religions too,
Mhm.
they can't even agree on a lot of things. So
I mean, how
uh,
many different gods
there,
are there? Who is it? There's Ricky Gervais who was like, you're atheist
oh
too.
yeah,
I just don't believe in one more God than you, and that's yours.
there's
Because you
been
don't believe
thousands
in
of
all the
gods
other
throughout
gods.
history.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even know what I believe there because I really do feel like there's like
Something.
there is spirituality, and this earth has so much organization to it that it's like there's some cool stuff there.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't
I use
have
the
the
word
answers, and I don't.
God to describe their God. The
Ooh,
gods that all the different religions are like they give him his limits. They say who he is. They say he's limitless, but then oh, but he doesn't have the power to do that because it would take your free will. But I can take your free will. You know what I mean? Like there's so much of that just like
actually, I was listening to a comedian, and
okay,
I'll be able to find it later, but I'm gonna slaughter it right now.
cool.
He was saying that a quote that he heard was, "God is the name we give to the blanket that gives spirituality shape." Like, does that make sense? It's
I
the blanket
guess
laid over the top of it that gives it shape. Like, um, and it was actually said by somebody in like Metallica or something like that. But
it's a neat way to describe it.
anyway,
God is a
yeah,
word. The word God is just a word, Elohim, and there's lots of different things people call it, but anything that people have created to say this is what God is, I do not believe in the God that anybody else has created.
yeah.
Yeah, because
Well, and
I
I think it's
like
different for all of us. Excuse me.
I guess I don't know. I I think that our energy carries on. I think like there's so many things we can't explain, so I could never say there's not something more. I can just say that
Okay.
I don't subscribe to any of anybody else's versions of a god and what a god would mean to them because most of the ideas of God don't make me feel good. They make me feel
Yeah.
judgment or, hatred towards another group of people or, so many things that
Yeah.
I'm so put
So
off
many
by the idea of religion's God.
so many people
And
have died, and so many wars have been
yes,
fought in the name of
and all over
God.
controlling other people and their lives. And I'm just like, how do we get past that? You can't, it's just like we
It's a good
can't fix the
question.
government with a broken government. Can't get out of the out of that mentality when it's just still being propagated so hard.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So
I'm gonna go live like up in the mountains in Tibet or something. Just I don't know. Just go live
go
away from
Swiss
everybody.
Family Robinson style. Just
Yes.
find an island and like I still have that in me. Like,
Can
okay,
you go back a little bit there?
go back a little bit. Swiss Family Robinson style.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So where I was just saying how I think that I still like that idea, finding a little island. And I was just saying that I wish I liked fish more, so I'd probably, bring my own cows. But other than that, it'd be awesome.
Or you learn how to eat the fish.
Or I'd bring cows. No, I could learn how to eat fish like a grown up. But anywho, I like I break out the Swiss Family Robinson probably once a year or so, and yeah,
You'd
I
like
like
that.
that idea.
Yeah, I used to see like I think it was HGTV. I saw a couple of times where people were like, "We're moving to this, community in this other country," and but I'm just like, "Oh my God, like how could you do that?" And now I'm like, "Oh my God, I get it. I want to go
Like we could
live
do that.
in a little commune somewhere where
It would
uh
be nice if you could take like awesome healthcare with you
no,
and like
right? Well,
mhm, things that I
I
can't do
mean,
for myself.
what I'm starting to believe more and more in is less in healthcare and more in eating real food because we didn't always need this level of healthcare.
Right?
And as
I've eaten Hostess cupcakes every day for my entire life, and I have no idea why I feel like crap.
I know, I
Like
know. Like, so maybe I wouldn't,
weird.
but there's always, the need for things like antibiotic and different things that have come through healthcare. So I do see its
Yeah,
value, but I also see that a lot of things make us sick and we don't really fight to fight the root cause of getting sick. We just fight to treat the illnesses and continue to
symptoms.
make money off of it. Yeah.
Keep putting band-aids on severed legs. Yeah, don't worry, this will make it feel better.
Anyway, so yeah, so basically freaking the fuck out. I have no answers. I don't know what to do. Project 2025 scares me, and
Look
that's where I'm
into
at.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's valid.
I'm here for people having their beliefs, but we really need to allow other people to live in like a separation of church and state. Like one
Mhm.
thing that, and I, I just heard this, so I guess we'll have to fact check it. I heard someone say that in 2025, like they still leave the church as like a not taxable entity.
Mm,
Like so to be putting your all of your views into like a legal setting, but then you still get to operate in this tax-free like I don't know
yeah,
what.
doesn't work.
No.
Well, and coming from a church that had gobs of money, those taxes could do a lot. Like they really could.
Yeah. Did you hear about all the money that I mean we knew all the money that the Mormon church had, but when they kind of got caught with having all these different accounts and that they were hiding it. And
Hmm.
did you ever see that statement from Joseph Smith that one day, like the church
Wouldn't
would
be
have
needed.
amassed enough that it wouldn't be needed? But when it wasn't needed, they kept fucking taking it anyways. Proof that they are not godly people,
Yeah,
especially to take it from people like my parents who have never had enough and always gave. It's just so like almost
yeah.
criminal.
And to find out that they're investing in things that they
Tell you
claim
not to
not to
do.
believe in. Yeah,
Yeah, they don't care what it is.
exactly.
They just want to make money, but they're gonna tell
Do
you
not
and
drink
make you live
alcohol,
as a
but we're gonna
fearmonger. Like,
we're gonna invest in beer companies, but you can't drink it. Or like
uh-huh.
that's just one stupid example, but it is kind of weird. It is kind of weird.
It's a lot of weird.
If we're gonna
And
have
it,
morals, let's have morals.
yeah. Anyways.
Not that I think beer is wrong, but I'm just saying if you're gonna preach that it is,
Yeah, exactly. They very much the word of wisdom.
word of wisdom.
Your church voice comes right back.
My church voice. Let me tell you, I love church voice. Okay, this is probably a conversation for later because we've gone way over.
Oh, have we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Tell
that's
me.
okay.
Okay.
No, I love church voice. I've heard a couple of people talk about it. And like
Uh-huh.
in the Mormon church, when you give a talk, your voice gets softer
Uh-huh.
and you talk
Uh-huh.
to people. And then when you get really, really spiritual, you get that little voice, the little fry
Crack.
in
Yeah.
your voice.
Uh-huh.
And that's how you know that you're really spiritual. I'm like, anyway. And so now I can't hear it. Like I can't stop hearing it whenever I listen to a talk. It's like
Oh
you got
my
they
God.
probably just yelled at their kids in the car like the rest of us, and then they're coming, they're like, brothers and sisters,
And then
I
when
have
you
come.
learn that some of those talks that feel so sacred and so inspired were from a previous conference that you could have read in an Ensign 20 years ago, that they're regurgitating, and that person didn't even have any of those thoughts on their own.
Do you know the one that got me, that made me sad?
Which one?
It's actually a combination here. So when we used to go to Education Week, because
Hmm.
I loved Education Week, and
Hmm.
we go listen to all sorts, it was basically like a general conference, but that you got to kind of pick and choose your talks that you went to.
But all
One of my favorite,
faith-based, yes.
all faith-based, and one of my favorite um, people that I like to listen to, he'd tell stories that really got me. And I
Hmm.
was talking to somebody that knew him, and they're like, not really. Like when if you look at his notes for his talks, it says, "Be sure to cry here," or like, it's all the emotional things are written down. And I was like, yeah, that kind of sucks. And so later on, Jeffrey R. Holland was one of my favorite speakers at conference. He's one of the leaders in the LDS Church.
Hmm.
And I loved his talks. I love them. And I still do actually. But there was one time when he was giving a talk and he said he was talking about, I don't even know what he was talking about, but he said what he was talking about. And then he's like, and that's why I'm crying. And I'm like, you're not crying. And then all of a sudden he's like, and so I'm like, nope, nope,
You read
that's
the
like the
wrong
other guy.
part.
You read it. You read it. I'm like, and I heard the other speaker right then, and I'm like, dang it. No, I mean, I know it's hard to give the same talks over and over and to really feel that, but I don't want to be manipulated. Leave
Yeah,
me
but that's
alone.
exactly what it is. It's a manipulation because you're evoking feelings and people they give that to the spirit. You know what I mean? And they're all giving all these things meaning, but it's all fabricated. So it just
It's
feels
hard.
everything just feels so fake and I just feel stupid. Like I feel like I know nothing, but I know all the things that I learned don't feel true or valid anymore.
Yeah. I don't feel
Yeah.
stupid. I feel like I'm learning. I feel like a little kid that's like, oh, I didn't know.
I
Like,
know.
let's,
I guess that's a better way to look at it, but I just am like, how did I fall for some of these things and not question it more? You know, the more you get out of it and you're
because
just like, that is just literally stupid. Like that is
because you grew up
just
in a good world where there weren't a lot of like uh purposefully dishonest people. So you felt like the world
maybe
was a safe place, and you're like, of course these took things at face value. If you were a super skeptical 6-year-old, you'd be a whole different human being. Like we learn as we go, and we get information when we're ready for it. And
I
I think
think that maybe I was because I was an annoying question asker and talker, but that kind of got
not annoying,
squished.
but
It kind of got squished because it made me feel a way about myself. I knew it was an annoying part of me, you know. People would let me know that was an annoying part of me, so I had to
I don't think it's
repress
annoying.
that. Well, I don't think so now either. I'm like,
I know what you mean
or
though.
if it is annoying, that's fine. I'm okay with not being for everybody. But when you hear that as a child, it it changes the way you are because you don't want to be that. You know, that's a negative thing about you. You're gonna work on
Yeah.
changing that. So I couldn't work on being skeptical. I had to work on fitting in and suppressing what was annoying about me.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think that makes complete sense.
Anyways, well, yeah,
I'm
we
glad
went
I'm glad you don't feel the same way.
yeah. Me too. Me too. And there are probably people who are like, "Oh God, I wish you'd shut up." But you know,
They can
that's all
turn us
right.
off.
They could turn me
That's
off,
all
or
good.
they can walk away, or like you don't have to be part of this reality. But I'm not gonna
No.
be whatever somebody else needs me to be. I'm gonna be whatever I
Done
am. I'm
boxing
done with
yourself.
that. Yeah,
So
I'm done with that.
that
Because
makes sense.
I know
I
that
like
I
that.
never have ill intent, and if someone is bothered by or hurt by something I say, I hope that they will will come to me with it because I have no problem apologizing and be put in my place either. Like I
Yeah.
know I'm not right all the time. I'm this is just how I think or how I feel, and I'm just not gonna repress it in any and I wouldn't expect anybody else to either.
Well, I'm right all the time, so I just have no,
Well,
just kidding.
that's I mean you are. It's amazing.
It's a gift, really.
Yeah.
That's not true.
No.
But anywho,
Anyways, well, I don't know if this made me feel any better about 2025 or even like we
were you wanting
really
to feel better about it?
no, I don't know what I wanted. I was just like, hey, we gotta talk about this. And now
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
the
I don't
discussion's
know.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if somebody hasn't like looked at a 2025 on their own, I don't feel like I did a good job educating anything. I just bitched a lot. So this was more for us anyways. But if you
Well,
will
and
go look into it for yourself and if you
Once something's
feel,
brought to your attention, when you hear other things about it, it pings more. Like when you get a new car and you're like, oh, everybody has, I didn't realize how many people drove a Ford Focus. Like
yeah,
now that we've brought 2025 to your attention, pay attention when you hear it.
yeah,
Maybe perk your
you're
ears up a little bit.
probably seeing it everywhere anyways, because now it's being allowed in mainstream media, although it's
Oh, good.
been there for years. But now they're
But the
talking
more,
about it, which makes
yeah.
me think it's too late because they wouldn't say something that we could do
No,
anything about.
no, but part of it is because it's been like announced on TikTok and other platforms and they can't hide from it. So like maybe it's a good thing.
Maybe. I hope so. I
Yeah.
think I saw that somebody at the BET Awards said and look into 2025, like Project 2025, and then it like surged after that. So
Oh, really?
just need the right people who have the right audience to see it,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
We should have a surge of three people after this. Like, whoosh.
Well, let us
They'll
know what
know
you
with
think,
it.
Lisa. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Oh,
I love you. We gotta get off
I
here
love
now
you
because
as
I
well.
gotta go, Mom. But thanks for,
Awesome.
hashing that a little bit with me.
No problem.
Yeah.
Love talking to you.
All right. You too.
All
I
right.
miss you.
See you
I
next
love
time.
you.
Oh,
Okay.
miss you too.
Bye.
Lilas.
Subscribe up there.
Subscribe.
There's a subscribe up there.
Okay.
Like the button.
Okay.